What's up, everybody? This is Justin Wong, and you are listening to the Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova podcast.
All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova podcast. I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova, and I'm coming at you with another amazing episode and interview. And this time we have with us the CEO and co-founder of Parsec Gaming, the one, the only Benjy Boxer. And we're just going to be talking about how amazing their technology is, from the hardware encoding and decoding plus frame timing optimizations of their software with peer-to-peer NAT traversal for co-op playing with friends, Bud, the networking protocol for game streaming, and so much more. This is going to be a super informative episode, especially if you're a gearhead and a tech head and a system head like me who likes to know this kind of stuff, because this is similar technology that I work with in my day-to-day life. So if you are ready to do it, I'm ready to do it. Let's go ahead and bring Benjy Boxer onto the show. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova podcast. I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova, and I have with me the co-founder of Parsec Gaming, Benjy Boxer. Man, introduce yourself. It's an honor to have you on.
Hey, Mekel, it's great to be on with you, and thanks a lot for letting us come to your podcast and share our story with your audience. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of Parsec. My co-founder, Chris, does all the technical elements of Parsec along with the product. So if you like Parsec, he's the guy that you have to thank. And I'm just the guy that you might want to thank if you found out about Parsec somehow.
Awesome. Well, go ahead, plug like your company, like where people can find you guys on social media and any upcoming ventures that you have in the works.
Yeah, so you can find Parsec on Twitter at Parsec Team, Parsec Team. We are online at parsecgaming.com. And what Parsec does is we make it so that you can watch, play, and share video games with your friends, kind of using a different technique than you might think. We use streaming in order to make it so that you can share your gaming PC screen with your friends, and they can join you, and you can pass the controller, you can play multiplayer, or you can just watch. So the advantages of doing it with Parsec is that it's peer-to-peer, super low latency, and really makes it feel like you're sitting on the same couch as your friend. And we're really proud of how low latency Parsec is, and the experiences that people tell us that they're having, playing fighting games, playing couch co-op, getting back into old Mario games, things like that are really what get us excited.
That's amazing. Like zero latency, I'd say, is a really hard thing to accomplish, especially in gaming.
I wouldn't say zero latency. I'm not gonna make a claim that it's zero, but we try and go as low latency as possible.
Cool. Like how far would you say like cloud technology has come in the last few years to allow Parsec to become, the leader in this field?
Yeah, I think that, generally what's really helped is a couple things. Number one, we all have better internet connections at home. Number two, cloud machines are closer to us than they used to be. And number three, we all have specialized hardware on almost every device that we own that makes it easier for low latency gaming through streaming. Now, I think that we've done some special sauce to make it even better than what you can get elsewhere via our networking protocol that we built in-house specifically for game streaming. We built everything in-house for this one purpose. And I think it's really important also to note unlike, other cloud gaming products, Parsec allows you to play the games from your hardware under your desk too. So you can install Parsec on your gaming PC and invite your friends to join your gaming PC. You can go, to the office. Perhaps you're at the office and you're bored. You can connect home and play your game. So maybe jump into an Apex Legends game or a Fortnite game from when you're not at home. You can rent gaming PCs from us in the cloud if you want access to one. But really, what we're trying to provide is a streaming technology that's all purpose that you can use for gaming at 60 FPS or higher, 1080p or better quality.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And, I wanted to ask, like, what led to the creation of Parsec? Like, how did you guys come up with this idea and what just motivated you to create such an amazing service?
Yeah, thanks. I mean, so it started about 3.5 years ago when my co-founder noticed that people were like hacking Steam in-home streaming to use it from the cloud,
Hmm.
and from there he started playing around with, well, if you can do it through a hacky solution like this, what if you purposefully built technology for this one thing to make it
Hmm.
so that you can play games from remote hardware? And that went from really low level coding to networking protocols to all sorts of stuff that really were challenges that he solved with the rest of the team. And in addition to that, it's the small things that are hard too. It's like we didn't realize probably when we started that NAT traversal, which is like very complicated networking setup, can cause it to make it very difficult for a peer-to-peer connection to happen.
Hmm.
We spent a lot of time making that easier and making that better and higher percentage chance of connecting, because it's really hard to make that work. So all of those technologies and those things that we did were all geared around making Parsec work in a way that was seamless for the user, as seamless as we can.
Cool, cool. How big is your team on average?
So there's 9 of us on the team.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And
Small
as
team
co-founder,
taking on a lot of stuff.
I understand how that is.
Yeah.
As co-founder and CEO, like, what is a typical day like for you? In your position, and what are some of your responsibilities in your role?
Yeah. So uh, I spend a lot of my time during the day is talking to game developers, talking to our users, interacting with our development team, just different things like that that can help grow Parsec. Help manage kind of the marketing efforts of the team, as well as we have someone, his name's Alex. He spends all of his time on marketing, so he'll just check in with me once in a while. In addition, I kind of help manage the product process,
Cool.
how the engineers develop the product. So I've got my hands in a lot of stuff, and my co-founders mostly doing the engineering, thinking about future roadmap stuff. He's kind of in charge of the roadmap and product ideas, as well as he's the technical side, leading the technical side of it as well.
Awesome, awesome. And,
Yeah.
like, for you, like, what are some of your interests and hobbies or things that you enjoy outside of work?
Yeah. Well, outside of work, there's not much time outside of work. um, but mostly I spend my time trying to make my fiance happy. No, I'm just kidding. I spend most of my time outside of work with my fiance and things like that, but and my friends as well. But from a gaming perspective, my favorite game to play is Civilization 6. Maybe I was born to be kind of like a CEO or operator of a business, because I really get into resource management and like strategic decisions about what's going on around me. So yeah, I play some Civ 6 once in a while when I get my hands on it. If my fiance isn't looking.
Trust me, I understand how that is. It's
Yeah.
like, given that I'm out here in Hawaii, a lot of my friends are like, "Oh, you have all the time to go to the beach and everything, right?" I'm like, the beach. What is that? If I'm not working, then I'm usually doing the podcast, or I'm writing reviews, or working or networking with a gaming developer, or sometimes when I get free time, I get to spend time with my wife. But that's
Yeah.
oh crap! And today's our 2-year anniversary. Oh, anyway, so
Congratulations.
thank you.
I'm
But
glad to be here to
yeah,
remind you.
but anyway, so what are some of the best features and reasons to use Parsec over other available options for gamers, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think generally the most important thing is how the gaming experience feels through the product, and I think that's really what it comes down to. So we focus a lot of our effort on the streaming technology, and and the other really big thing that we have is the ability to connect to your friends' PCs and invite a lot of people to connect to your PC as well. So like these parties and really trying to recreate sitting in a living room and playing games with friends. So those are two really big features that Parsec has. And you can also list those parties publicly in what we call Party Finder, which lets you find people around you to play games with, which a lot of people like. But beyond that, if you're into the cloud gaming thing, one of the things that's nice about Parsec is it's kind of pay as you go. So if you want to play just a couple hours a week, Parsec is a pretty inexpensive way to play games. If you're looking to play 10 hours a week, I would say that Parsec's not the cheapest way to play your games. I think there are other ways like buying a PC, but the group of people who want to play a couple hours a week can get a lot out of playing through Parsec. But really, when it comes to the product itself and what matters, it's all about how that stream and that gaming experience feels. So we really focus on that.
Awesome. What would you say are like some particular games that you enjoy playing using your service, or that you would recommend to best, showcase how amazing your product is?
Well, what I play is different than what I would say is best showcasing the product. But I think the games that best showcase the product are the ones where latency matters a lot, and up to a point. I wouldn't recommend playing CS:GO off of a gaming PC that's like 1,000 miles away. You're just not going to do well in that situation for most people. But Parsec shines in lots of other experiences, like even in games like fighting games where ping and lag matter a lot. Parsec's actually really good in those games, and we've actually taken off a little bit in that market with even Sonic Fox tweeted out about how good Parsec is. So that's pretty cool. The games, other games, I would really, one thing that we've spent, not we, but Chris and Jamie, an engineer on the Parsec team, spent a lot of time on perfecting is mouse handling. And that is best shown off, I believe, in World of Warcraft. Because if you can like handle the mouse as well as all the spinning movements in World of Warcraft, you're doing pretty good. And there's a reason why it works really well in World of Warcraft. It's Chris, my co-founder, and Jamie's favorite game. So they spend a lot of time making sure it works well.
Awesome. And what do you see as like the future of gaming when it comes to, or even rather the future of cloud-based gaming versus the traditional medium? Because it seems like we're shifting towards cloud gaming, and I feel like Microsoft has been pushing that for years.
Yeah.
I used to work for Microsoft, and I feel like when they were trying to let gamers know that that's the direction they were going towards back in 2013, I don't think the technology or the understanding of how it works was there compared to like here we are in 2019.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think Microsoft is in a great position to do cloud gaming. They have their data center business, Azure. They have Game Pass. They have Xbox Live, and of course they have the Xbox brand. So they're in a really good position to do cloud gaming. I believe that gamers are going to get less from cloud gaming early on than what you would call the latent gamer, the gamer that maybe played a lot as a kid, but is looking to play 1 or 2 hours a week kind of thing. current gamers really should have gaming PCs. The experience is always going to be better with current version of games on local hardware, because those games are meant for local hardware type experiences. And if you just move that into the cloud, it's like, is this really that much better? Not really, no. But that's good for someone who doesn't have a gaming PC, or an Xbox. So that's where like cloud gaming can be helpful. To get current gamers or people who really like to play games excited about cloud gaming, we're gonna have to see a new type of game come out. I'm not sure what that type of game will be, but it's going to take advantage of the cloud nature of cloud gaming, where you've got game engines that can really take on all of that extra horsepower that the cloud offers in CPU or something like that. But that's where, and it's not going to be because of the GPUs, it's going to be because of the CPU access. But that's where you're going to see cloud gaming take off, is when it can create unique experiences for all gamers, rather than just being a copy, of games that you play on your local hardware today in the cloud. So that's really what I think about cloud gaming. I think one outcome of cloud gaming might be a situation, and I wrote about this on our blog recently, might be a situation where you've got all these games as a service, and games as a service are like things like Fortnite, WoW, League of Legends, all those kinds of things, where you're playing one game and it just keeps updating and you pay for DLC and stuff like that. You might see a lot more of that with cloud gaming and less new titles that come out for like $60. And because cloud gaming increases engagement theoretically, and you can monetize engagement. So what that might result in is fewer new games, which can be a negative for lots of people, because we all want to play that, we want to see creativity and new things like that, which I think you might see diminish. Now that's a hypothesis. I don't know if that's actually true, but it's one of my concerns about where cloud gaming could go.
Yeah, because it really seems like when it comes to gaming as a whole, a lot of people are not understanding that $60 for a full retail game, with the cost of how far like development has shot up from, I'd say, like the PS2 era to now, it costs way more than just a base $60 game. It's like there's so much going into it that I feel like a lot of companies with the development of their games, they're actually costing more than a lot of Hollywood movies now. So they've got to, so, games as a service, I think there's already kind of pushback on paying for the DLC for games or expansions, but that's kind of the direction I see we're going with a lot. I mean, we're seeing it with fighting games already. So,
well, I think it's, and then if you add cloud gaming into it, it actually becomes problematic unless they make money through engagement, like DLC and stuff like that. Because Game Pass, for instance, is I think $15 a month or something like that. But now you're going to have to, with Game Pass, if you offer xCloud, which is Xbox's cloud gaming idea that they keep talking about, you're talking about a much higher subscription price, or games are going to get a lot less money from the subscription, because it's expensive to run cloud gaming for people. So you have to realize that games might start making less money unless they figure out ways to monetize the extra time that people spend with the game. Or we're just going to see in the cloud, you're still going to have to pay $60 for the game. Your game subscription won't come with the game, something like that, because you really need to figure out ways to recoup that massive expense of developing games.
Yeah. So, down to the last two questions I have, what advice would you give to someone looking to get into like creating their own business or startup, or what should they know going into it?
My advice, well, first of all, I don't know if I'm the right person to give advice. I'm still trying to figure all this out myself. But I think the one thing I've learned is that, just showing up every day opportunities come. If you show up every day and you just persevere through the many downs that happen in starting a business, you'll eventually, I believe, find success. I think every startup or every company has a route to success, no matter what happens around it, and it's up to you to weather the storms of competition, of news, of user feedback, product issues, whatever it is. It's up to you to figure out, okay, what is the path amongst all of the paths that we can take that could be successful. I'm sure there's going to be many paths that are successful, but it's all about really showing up the next day to try it again.
Okay.
And that being said, I still don't know if we're on the right path. It's just, we're in the journey still. So I would recommend asking that question of someone who's been doing it a lot longer than me.
I'd say you're on the right path. So, hey. Last question I have for you is when will we see you guys out here in Hawaii?
Maybe on my honeymoon. I don't know. What do you mean by see us in Hawaii? Like us personally, or the well, I think that might be when I come out to Hawaii next, is for a honeymoon. So my fiance and I are thinking about that. We're not going to go this year. We're getting married in June, and then we have to kind of save up again for the honeymoon. So we'll maybe come out in 2020.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, actually, I lied. I have one last question, and the question is, did you have fun?
Yes, I did. I always do. It's always fun talking about Parsec and sharing a little bit more with people who might be interested in what we're doing.
Awesome. Well, definitely, man, we'd love to have you back on the show again. I know, so audience, in case you didn't know, we were actually trying to do this last week, but because of my job and the type of work I do, I had to reschedule at the last minute. So Benjy, I'm so sorry for that.
No worries at all. I'm always happy to hop on a call and look at the sunny landscape behind you with the cold, dreary week that we have here in New York. So I can just be jealous of you.
But hey, we would love to have you back on the show again. Thank you so much, Benjy, for coming on the show. And anything you want to leave the audience with before we wrap it up?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. It's been fun sharing a little bit about Parsec. If you're interested in Parsec, don't forget to check us out at www.parsecgaming.com, or check out our Twitter feed at @ParsecTeam. Thanks a lot for taking some time to hear more about Parsec.
Awesome. And I'll leave links to everything down in the description below of the video as well as the podcast. And just so you guys know, if you're looking to find this, it will be available on youtube.com/Mekel Kasanova. It will also be available on iTunes, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, as well as coming soon to Podcast One, as well as iHeartRadio and Sirius XM Radio. Just look up the Kasanova Podcast. It's the #1 podcast in Hawaii. Benjy, we will definitely be staying in touch. I would love to have you back on the show again. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. And Benjy, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you. Bye.
Did you enjoy this episode of the Kasanova Podcast? Well, I hope you did. And if you did, please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And let us know what we can improve upon, what you liked, what you didn't like, and all that good stuff. And just make sure you always have a good time. That being said, this is your boy Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber. I am signing out, and I'll catch you on the next episode.